It's precisely 6:15. This is the news on Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News is edited by Anjana Duramgoda, read by Sabrina Zawahir. The headlines. President backs Palestinian people's right to statehood during discussion with Iranian counterpart. The President says education should be free from political influence. China's assistance offered to expand the sectors related to renewable energy, vehicle manufacturing, agricultural technology, paper and printing-related fields. Sri Lankan Airlines automates monitoring and coordinating aircraft maintenance. The government to seize nearly 112 illegally imported vehicles. Russian, Ukraine and Middle East crisis no hindrance to tea exports. And in world news, the Spain's Prime Minister halts public duties as wife faces inquiry. And in sports news, Nethmika Madhushani wins silver at Asian Junior Athletics Championships. Now the local news in detail. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has reiterated Sri Lanka's recognition of the inalienable rights of the Palestinian people to Palestinian statehood. The President added that a political solution would require a halt to killings in Gaza, recognition of a Palestinian state in 5 years, and respect for sovereign territories and security of all states. President Wickremesinghe warned that immobilizing the UN system would lead to a loss of confidence similar to what happened to the League of Nations. According to the President's media division, the President made the remarks while delivering a statement following a meeting with Iranian President Dr. Ebrahim Raisi in Colombo yesterday. A meeting between Chinese Association of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises and Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena was held today at the Temple Trees. Attention was paid on to expansion and trade investments in renewable energy, vehicle manufacturing, agricultural technology, paper and printing-related fields. President of the association, Reng Shangli, said that the Chinese people are very happy about the Prime Minister's visit to China and expressed his heartfelt gratitude for the visit. Vice President of the association, Shoel Slang, said that there is a potential to invest in the development of industries related to solar power, wind power and biomass energy in Sri Lanka. The Prime Minister pointed out the possibility of exporting high-quality cinnamon to China and the possibility of giving priority to the import of electronic vehicles. Sri Lankan Airlines has announced the introduction of automation for monitoring and coordinating aircraft maintenance by integrating AMAS, a fully integrated software package managed by Swiss Aviation Software. The airline, via a statement, said it has transformed aircraft maintenance with the recent integration of AMAS, a next-generation enterprise resource planning solution for aircraft engineering and maintenance repair and overhaul management by Swiss Ace. By automating the monitoring and coordination of aircraft maintenance with AMAS, Sri Lankan Airlines aims to boost engineering productivity, reduce costs and maintain quality and consistency in MRO operations. This news is brought to you by Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing local news. State Minister of Finance Ranjit Simbalapitiya said the Ministry of Finance is to confiscate 112 vehicles that had been illegally imported to Sri Lanka in the last few years. According to a Finance Ministry statement, the State Minister was quoted as saying that 112 vehicles had been illegally imported for 7 billion rupees from 2015 to 2022. State Minister Simbalapitiya further said the illegally imported vehicles have been identified by the Fraud and Corruption Investigation Commission. He said that measures will be taken to confiscate the illegally imported vehicles from the people who are currently using them. The State Minister of Finance added that it was the responsibility of the buyer to ensure that the vehicles had been imported through legal means. The current Russian, Ukraine and the ongoing Middle East crisis have not affected the Sri Lankan tea exports to these countries as there was no cancellation of orders, said Chairman, Colombo Tea Traders Association, Sanjay Herath, at the launch of the Colombo International Tea Convention to be held from 24th to 26th of July in Colombo. He said that during the peak of the Red Sea crisis, there were some concerns as the freight rates were high. However, there is a positive turnaround in this regard. That ends local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe emphasized the peril of politicizing education, warning that such a move would inevitably lead to the nation's downfall. He urged all stakeholders to set aside personal biases and engage in collaborative discussions to devise the most effective education system for the country within the next 2 or 3 years. The President made these remarks during his address at the 10th Biennial Conference of the All-Island Professional Lecturers Association held at the Nelupokuna Theatre in Colombo. President Wickremesinghe further elaborated that the government's forthcoming education reforms would not only solely involve education experts, but would also welcome input from school teachers, professionals in the economic sector, and organizations like the APR. The President reiterated the importance of inclusive dialogue in shaping the future of education in the country. That was main news.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight. Conducting and organizing tuition classes and seminars aimed at students scheduled to sit for the upcoming 2023 GCE Ordinary Level examination will be prohibited from next week. The Department of Examinations said, accordingly, all tuition and revision classes as well as seminars oriented towards the 2023 O-Level exam will be banned from midnight on Tuesday. Strict action will be taken against those who violate the rules, the Commissioner General of Examinations noted. The 2023 Ordinary Level exam is scheduled to be held from 6th May to 15th May 2024. That came to you in Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
Headlines of the world news. The Spain's Prime Minister hauls public duties as wife faces inquiry. Ukrainian Air Force says Russian missile damages civilian railway infrastructure in Cherkasy region. Athens turns orange under North Africa's Sahara dust clouds. Now the world news in detail. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has suspended public duties to stop and reflect on whether to remain in the job after a court opened a preliminary inquiry into his wife. In a statement, the Spanish leader said he urgently needed to decide whether I should continue to lead the government or renounce this honor. The court said it was responding to corruption claims against Begonia Gomez. Mr. Sanchez said his wife would defend her honor and work with the judiciary. A Russian missile damaged critical infrastructure and injured 6 people in Ukraine's central Cherkasy region today. Ukrainian Air Force spokesperson said in a television broadcast the attack hit civilian and railway infrastructure in the city of Sinhala. An Iskander-K missile was used in the attack based on preliminary information. The blast wave and debris also damaged 47 private residencies and shattered windows in a residential high-rise building. Cherkasy governor said via the Telegram messaging app Ukraine's air defenses had shot down the aerial target, he said, adding that emergency services were working at the site. Athens turned orange as winds deposited sand from North Africa on the Greek capital. Skies over southern Greece turned an orange hue on Tuesday as dust clouds blown across the Mediterranean Sea engulfed the Acropolis and other Athens landmarks. Strong winds carried the dust from the Sahara Desert, giving the atmosphere of the capital a Martian-like filter amid the last hours of daylight. The skies were predicted to clear on Wednesday as winds shift and move the dust, with temperatures dipping on Tuesday. The daily high in parts of the southern island of Crete topped 30 degrees Celsius, more than 20 degrees Celsius higher than temperatures registered across northern Greece. The winds over recent days have also fanned unseasonal wildfires in the south. That was the world news. Prior to concluding, the headlines of the world news once again. The Spain's Prime Minister halts public duties as wife faces inquiry. Ukrainian Air Force says Russian missile damages civilian railway infrastructure in Cherkasy region. Athens turns orange under North Africa's Sahara dust clouds. That ends world news. Moving on to development news. The newly launched www.srilankaevisa.lk platform enhances Sri Lanka's visa processing system by replacing the previous electronic travel authorization framework. This robust and state-of-the-art platform efficiently manages non-resident applications for a diverse range of visa categories, including short-term, long-term, transit, and gratis visas across 15 visa categories, with stage duration of 1 month to 10 years under this unified and integrated e-visa platform. That came to you in development news.
Moving on with sports news.
Sri Lankan athlete Nethmika Pandushani yesterday clinched a silver medal at the Asian Junior Athletics Championship 2024. Accordingly, she placed second in the women's triple jump event with a personal best of 13.1 meters. The 21st edition of the tournament is taking place in Dubai, UAE from 24th to the 27th of April. That was sports news.
Go ekakthiyana youth ekata life eke change ekata niyamata set wenna as wahagena dakapu hina habe karanna youth ekata niyamata set wenna friendship ekata menna.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
ITC Limited's wholly owned subsidiary Welcome Hotels Lanka Private Limited has launched ITC Ratnadepa, a jewel in Colombo's skyline that promises to enrich the tourism and hospitality landscape of Sri Lanka. This flagship hospitality icon of ITC Hotels was inaugurated today by the President Ranil Wickremesinghe in the presence of Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena, Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka Santosh Jha, and Chairman and Managing Director ITC Limited India Sanjeev Puri. That was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekakthiyana youth ekata life eke change ekata niyamata set wenna as wahagena dakapu hina habe karanna youth ekata niyamata set wenna friendship ekata menna.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Moving on to economic news. Sri Lanka will require 40 billion rupees a year to bring the interest rate offered to senior citizens for their savings, and the government is closely studying the matter with the country's fiscal situation in mind, an official said. State Minister of Finance Ranjit Simbalapitiya told Parliament today that the Treasury will take a decision with great care. Simbalapitiya was responding to a question raised by opposition leader Sajith Premadasa. That was economic news.
Weather report.
Finally, we take a look at the weather report. Showers or thundershowers will occur at several places in the western, Sabragamua, central, northwestern and southern provinces in the evening. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the Sabragamua, central and Uva provinces during the morning. That was the weather report. Prior to concluding this bulletin of news, the headlines once again. President backs Palestinian people's right to statehood during discussion with Iranian counterpart. The President says education should be free from political influence. China's assistance offered to expand the sectors related to renewable energy, vehicle manufacturing, agricultural technology, paper and printing-related fields. Sri Lankan Airlines automates monitoring and coordinating aircraft maintenance. The government to seize nearly 112 illegally imported vehicles. Russian, Ukrainian and Middle East crisis, no hindrance to tea exports. With that, we conclude the news, and over to my friend and certainly yours is all geared up to keep you entertained with a wonderful collection of music indeed. Over to you, Mariela.
Thank you, Sabrina. That was Sabrina Zavahir bringing you the main news broadcast right here from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Wishing you nothing but the best and have a safe journey back home. This is Radio Sri Lanka.